Italian Football Podcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Italian Football Podcast. I'm Carlo Garganese, joined as always by Nima and on today's show we will react to another massive Serie A weekend, a massive one for Inter, who returns to the top after Juventus surprisingly dropped points at home to Empoli. Inter winning a very close game against Fiorentina 1-0 after Juventus had drawn 1-1 against Empoli, with Arek Milik's early red card proving costly. Milan failed to capitalise on Juventus' slip-up as they drew with Bologna in a 4-goal thriller after missing 2 penalties. Lazio and Napoli played out one of the worst games, maybe the worst game of the season, in a 0-0 draw, while Atalanta continue their brilliant form to strengthen, to move into 4th place actually. So we're going to round up also the rest of the Serie A matches, and we're also going to look at possible Serie A and Italian managerial replacements for Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool and Xavi at Barcelona. Both of those have announced that they are leaving at the end of the season. And we will also have our usual Baggio, Premface and Serie Ass of the week. For all our first-time listeners, this is our free weekly episode that we do every Monday, reviewing the weekend Serie A action and all the biggest talking points in Italian football. If you want to support the Italian Football Podcast and receive all of our content that we do throughout the week, including a weekly Q&A episode every Tuesday where we answer all of the questions from our patrons, plus the weekly Thursday midweek review show, plus interviews, post-match reaction and much, much more, then go to patreon.com/TIFP and become a subscriber for just $2.99 a month plus VAT. And you can also sign up now to be a paid subscriber on Spotify. We'll provide the link in the description. It's the same price and the same terms. And for all of you who listen on Spotify, Apple and iTunes podcasts, we'd really appreciate if you give us a 5-star rating, give us a follow and a like. We're also on YouTube. We almost have 2,000 followers on YouTube now. So give us a follow on there as well. It really helps us to grow and do more quality content for you guys. So let's get into today's show. So we'll start off with the Sunday evening game, the last match of the weekend. Fiorentina against Inter in Florence. Inter win 1-0, a massive win for Inter for the race for the scudetto, because after Juventus, who we'll come on to, could only draw 1-1 at relegation threatened Empoli, this meant that Inter could win and return to the top of the table, which they did. So they go 1 point clear. They also have a game in hand to go 4 points clear ahead of the game against Juventus in the Derby d'Italia at San Siro this weekend. So it's looking fantastic for Inter. In terms of the game itself, this was a Scudetto winning grind of a win. These are the kind of games that you have to win away from home when you've got players missing. They were out Barella and Çalhanoğlu in midfield, and it showed. And you don't play particularly well. I think, to be honest, Inter are a bit fortunate to win this game. I think a draw definitely would have been at least the least that Fiorentina deserved. But Inter, they showed that winning against adversity, and this is what you need to win Scudettos. So it's a fantastic win for Inter, and they now are in a fantastic position. Nima.
Yeah, look, I don't think Inter's performance was very good. Çalhanoğlu and Barella both being missed. Well, it showed, like you said, it was obvious it was going to show, and there was always going to be a drop-off in quality. But I think Inter created most of the best chances in this game. I think if you look at the clear-cut chances, the best chances, Inter created the most of them. Yes, Fiorentina had most of the possession, but that was expected. Fiorentina didn't really create that many clear-cut chances, I think. I think Inter's defense was very, very solid, very, very balanced. And Inter should have probably scored, missed a few chances. I remember the one with Carlos Augusto. I don't understand how he misses that. So I think it's one of those weird games where, one side has the ball most, is in control of the game, but the other side has the clear chances. But to me, I'm not happy with that, with the performance as such, because I felt Inter were a little bit toothless at times. I didn't feel it was. I didn't see the usual Inter that in attack, in defense they were flawless, but I'm talking in attack. I felt they were a little bit wasteful and they didn't look sharp.
They looked tired to me. They looked leggy. I was watching Lautaro from about the 55th minute, 60th minute. Lautaro was treading on water basically, and I think probably that. I think the Super Coppa playing 2 games in 4 days, that the accumulation of that had probably caught up with them now rather than in that Napoli game, but now. So I think that was part of it. Fiorentina will get into. I want to give Fiorentina to credit. I thought they played really well, so it wasn't just that Inter played bad. I don't think they played bad, but like you said, I think they were just.
Well, they looked tired.
Yeah, they
looked
tired,
and it's understanding. But again, look, Lautaro scores. This is the salto di qualità that we've been waiting for. That I never thought was going to happen with him. But he scores again. 19 goals in 19 games. It's, it's ridiculous how he has gone from being the perpetual number 2 man who misses sitters and misses clear-cut chances, lacks killer instinct, to becoming 19 goals in 19 games in Serie A this season. He's really taken a step, even in a game where he's not really good, or Inter were very good and going forward, where they look tired. He still manages to score and scores the winning goal. And Inter have now won 17 of their first 21 games, which is historic. It's the second time in Inter's history they've done that. And last time was 2007, 2008, if I remember correctly, under Mancini. But 17 wins out of opening 21 games is fantastic. Yeah, it really is. And another clean sheet. And Yann Sommer, to me, cements his position as the best goalkeeper this season in the Serie A. I think he was just absolutely unbelievable.
No doubt about that. He made one great save in the first half. I think, was it Bonaventura? Yeah. And then obviously the penalty save, which everyone's going to say it was a terrible penalty. And it was a terrible penalty. But, this is I think, Yann Sommer has now officially destroyed that penalty routine, which I know you hate.
It drives me insane.
But he's destroyed it now because obviously he did that to Jorginho. Twice, which cost Italy qualification for the World Cup, and now he's done it to Gonzalez as well.
That's how Nico Gonzalez takes his penalties. Like this season, those are the penalties he shoots. He does that little hop skip bullshit, which is ridiculous. And I think
it's even more ridiculous when you consider that Sommer has already shown that doesn't work on him with Jorginho. So that's bad preparation from not just Gonzalez but also by the Fiorentina management team when you're planning the game, and they'll say, right, if you get a penalty, they should be making that clear. You do not take a penalty like that against Sommer, because Sommer doesn't you can't do that to Sommer. He knows how to stand up and wait to the last minute. And I was watching, they showed some Gonzalez's eyes when he's stepping up and he's looking at him and he's looking at him, and then he puts it the other side. So he's obviously watching Sommer. I don't know what Sommer does, whether he stumbles a little bit, like tricks, fakes a dive to the other side.
I think he does something. I think we need to study what Yann Sommer does when he, if you know that angle when you have straight forward.
We haven't seen that angle. That would be good. I
want to see that, because I think what he does is, I think he does something with his hand or body, moves a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right to fool the shooter.
To think that he's going that way, and then they put it the other way.
Yeah. And it's because it's not just one time. He does it all the time. Like he just doesn't fall for those penalties. Yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind that Yann Sommer knew that Nico Gonzalez takes his penalties with this city.
Oh, absolutely. He's prepared, of course. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, it was...
Sommer was great. And also into defence, even though, if you look at the XG of this game, Fiorentina have an XG of 1.84 to Inter's 0.84.
But we should remember that
obviously the penalty will account for about 0.75 of that. But still, that's an XG of over 1. So that's why I say, Fiorentina definitely deserved the draw in this game. But the reason, I think also what accounts for that high XG is Inter's did two absolutely insane goal-saving blocks, which are actually good goal-scoring positions to score from, both at Unzola, one in the first half and one in the second half, that they're actually good goal-scoring chances. But on both opportunities, Bastoni's done just an insane world-class block for one of them. And then Pavard did exactly the same in the second. Now, on both of those, Unzula doesn't really hit it cleanly enough, which is, again, we'll come to Fiorentina and their forwards and their lack of finishing ability. But they're insane blocks from both of them.
But Pavard, especially, to me, has been... defensively, I mean, I was expecting him to be a monster in attack, and we're kind of waiting, even though I saw some incredible stats the other week about Pavard, in terms of in terms of how he treats the ball, but defensively he's been absolutely fantastic. It's truly that's been his most, I think that's what he's been the best at this season, is his defensive contributions. He's been really good. I mean, I've got it now, Data MB on Twitter, at Data MB. He's won the most defensive duels per 90 minutes in the Serie A. He's got the best accuracies, number one for forward pass accuracy, long pass accuracy first, and progressive pass accuracy third. Pavard. And that's, and still we're kind of on the pitch. We're kind of waiting for him to do more in attack, or I was, at least. That's what I was expecting him to excel at. But defensively, he's been unbelievable, and that is what a world-class player defender he is in this system. I mean, this is exactly why I wanted him to replace Skriniar. That's why he was my number one ideal choice, and he's more than made up for it. He is just. He's only 27, isn't he? Like, he's not that old either. So no, it's a fantastic signing for Inter, and I'm so glad that for once they replaced a starting player, with someone that is better in this system. So for me, I'm really happy with Inter defensively. I think Sommer, Bastoni, we know he's got his defensive weaknesses, but that slide tackle was stunning, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it was stunning. Just before we come on to Fiorentina, let's do the three refereeing incidents. The first one, that everyone's debating. The first one, Lautaro's goal, which is Lautaro makes a run to the near post from the corner away from Parisi. He gives a little push to Parisi, who goes down. For me, Parisi's too weak. He's also unbalanced as he's running after him. This is a regular goal. It's not even really much of a debate for me. And I've seen all the referees that have commented on this after have agreed it's a regular goal. I'm assuming that's going to be your take as well.
I don't. If we're going to give a penalty, or if we're going to disallow stuff for that, then it's a show. I don't even see where's the infringement. Like, what's the problem? There's nothing to talk about here. Like, is it ballet with a ball, or are we watching football? Do we allow physical contact or not?
Yeah.
Like, can we just make that clear once and for all? Because there's a difference between physical contact and an infringement. If that's an infringement, fine. Then football is like women's ice hockey was for up until recently, where tackling was not allowed. That's fine, but then use it across the board. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little handoff, really. That's all it is. It's a little handoff with one hand. When it's two hands, then you're getting into debate territory. But when it's one hand, you can't. Yeah, it's and he's on the run. Parisi's too weak. I want to speak about Parisi afterwards. Bastoni on Ranieri, Inter leading 1-0. I can't remember if this was a corner or free kick, but the ball comes in to the box, and Bastoni's got a hold of Ranieri. For me, we've seen these given. He's pulling Bastoni at Ranieri. He's not looking at the ball, at the play, or playing the ball. I was watching this on BT Sport. Tony Dorigo, who was a former England defender, he said this was a penalty. Morelli said after the game, I'll read out his quote. He says, Bastoni Ranieri, interesting and very particular episode. Initially, they are both holding on to each other. Then Bastoni loses contact with the ball and dedicates himself only to holding Ranieri. In the last part of the incident, which is the most important in my opinion, Bastoni doesn't look at the ball. The penalty is very much at the limit, as they say in Italy. I would have appreciated an on-field review. So he's not saying it's a penalty. He says he should have definitely had an on-field review, which usually leads to a penalty. Now, my personal opinion on this, this is my personal interpretation. Doesn't mean it's true. I don't like penalties given for pulling and pushing in the box because I'm old school. I'm from the old Italian school defending where I believe that this kind of stuff should go on, and I think we're too strict, like you said, in the penalty area on these. So I wouldn't give a penalty, but that's just my personal interpretation of it. But as Morelli said, he's running the risk here, Bastoni, by not looking or playing at the ball, in my opinion. What's your take?
Yeah, I think he's risking it, and it's unnecessary. But the thing is, there's bending and then there's breaking the laws of the games. You know what I mean? Like, and he's bending them. He's bending them there. I think it's he's on the like Acerbi did against Osimhen, like Chiellini did his entire career. There's bending and then there's breaking, and I think he's on the border, but on the borderline there, and he's risking it.
See, I think they should be allowed, but this is a philosophical argument. This is just my how I believe the defenders should be. That I think that too much benefit is given to attackers in general. That's just in everything, which is why the defense, the art of defense has been killed. Also, because you're not allowed to do anything now if you're a defender.
I mean, look, when we're talking about shirt pulling, that's something else, right? I mean that shouldn't be allowed, and it should be stopped when you're literally impeding a player's movement by dragging him back, like Terracciano did in the Milan game against Bologna. Like that's.
I think where he's running the risk here is he's not even looking at the ball. He's not even trying to play the ball. He's only concentrating on the man. That's the issue here. I think when you're trying to play for the ball and you're just grappling and you're holding and you're fighting, you're wrestling. That's just part of the physical contact of trying to outmuscle your player. That's for me. That's there's no debate there. So I think he was risking it. But like I said, that's my personal opinion is that I like this being part of the game, and that's what Italy. I don't want it outlawed because this is what Italy have always been the best at and the smartest at over the years. And that's why we've always had the best defences. And I think it's also a reason why we're not able to utilise that strength anymore because that's come out of the game. So I don't want it removed from the game. But anyway, now Sommer on Unzola, the penalty that was given to Fiorentina. So Sommer comes out, punches the ball, and then punches Unzola on the follow-through with force and endangering the opponent. So by modern rules, for me, it's a clear penalty. Now, this is what Morelli said.
Even remotely a penalty. And I'll tell you why. Because the situation is, when it comes to, this is not with the foot. It's different when it comes to the foot, where there are clear instructions from the superiors at IFAB about what happens, which we're going to get to in the Milan Bologna game, right? There is no chance this is a penalty because he gets, his eyes are on the ball. He hits the ball first. Enzola's trying to head it, and he gets the punch of when he punches the ball. It also hits Enzola 1 second after. There is no doubt whatsoever that Sommer takes the ball first. There is no doubt about this, and that's the key here. And
it's not about getting the ball. It's if you get the ball and then take the player after in the box. In this particular instance, getting the ball is irrelevant.
Why wasn't Mike? It's not irrelevant because less than 2 years ago, Mike Maignan knocked out Lovato for Milan, and everybody was in agreement there that no, it's unfortunate, it's this, that, and the other, but it's not a penalty. Luca Marelli himself literally say, "Questo non è mai rigore per me." This is never a penalty for me. The situations are identical.
Okay. I haven't seen that incident. If it was the same as this incident, then it should have been a penalty. That's all I would say. Because this incident, Morelli gives the rules here. He says in the VAR.
Morelli said then, less than 2 years ago, questo non è mai.
Okay, whatever. I don't care about what happened 2 years ago. I'm talking about this incident.
Well, I care about this because
what you do is forget about the whataboutism all the time. Just concentrate on this incident.
It's not whataboutism.
Okay, let me say what Morelli said in this instance.
It's not whataboutism. This is nonsense. This is the rat fucking I was talking about 2 weeks ago. Laying the groundwork to rat fuck Inter.
Okay, well, we're still waiting for that rat fuck.
We saw it yesterday. Let me tell you something clear. There is no chance.
Nima, you can't punch an opponent after. It doesn't matter if you got the ball.
He didn't punch the opponent.
He punched the person in the head.
Unless you play for Milan or Juve or anyone else.
Nima, I don't care about Milan and Juve.
No, Nima, of course it doesn't matter. Don't look at the shiny object over here.
Nima,
forget about it.
Nima, in Inter are not a downtrodden club. Like Juventus, like Milan, like Bayern Munich, like Real Madrid, they are part of the establishment. They're a corporate team. So let's just forget about this downtrodden provincial
This literally did not happen to Milan. Literally didn't happen to Milan. Literally.
Didn't Mike Maignan get sent off this season when he got the ball and then need someone in the head after?
Knee is different. Knee is different. It is exactly different. The foot is different.
Nima, if you punch someone in the head, if a goalkeeper punches someone in the head, even if they got the ball, it's a penalty.
It's not a penalty. Only when it's Inter it is.
Okay, let me just read out.
It's not.
Okay, all right.
I'll read out what Luca Marelli said himself 2 years ago. I've got the quote right here. This is never a penalty for me. That's a direct quote for him.
Okay, well, Luca Morelli said yesterday, so maybe Morelli's part of the rat fucking. Morelli said yesterday.
Obviously, then.
Morelli said, in the VAR room, they assess Sommer's intervention as very dangerous. I agree with the final decision. A goalkeeper has every right to go for the ball, but he must be careful. This is a punch in the face. You can't punch players in the face, Nima. It's simple as that. This is Luca Morelli. Luca Morelli can be wrong. He's not right all the time. He's not God, like you said in the past. But this is Luca Morelli interpreting the rules. The rules are, if you endanger an opponent with force, regardless of whether you got the ball, that's in the rules. It's a penalty. That is exactly what he did.
It is not.
He punched the ball and he punches the player in the head. That's a penalty.
It
doesn't matter. He got the ball. He punches the player in the head. If you get the ball with your foot and then you take the player out after,
foot is different. Foot is different, and that's what you don't understand. And a gaslighting.
Okay, Luca Morelli's wrong then, and Luca Morelli's gaslighting everyone.
He is wrong here.
So Luca Morelli is against the downtrodden Inter.
2 years ago. No, I forgot. Poor little Juve, who have the world against them. Calciopoli was an inside job by Moratti and everyone else to screw.
Inter are no different to Juve or Milan. They're not downtrodden club, and this rat fucking thing needs to stop. But this is a penalty.
This is exactly what I was talking about 2 weeks ago, and it got proven beyond all doubt for the world to see yesterday. Everybody saw it.
So Inter got rat fucked yesterday, yeah?
Of course they did, because Nico Gonzalez can't take a penalty. Okay. If he knew how to take a penalty, they would have completely rat fucked Inter yesterday. This is exactly what I was talking about, and it got proven yesterday for the world to see. Same situation with a Milan goalkeeper. Nothing. Everyone is. It's unfortunate.
So Maignan getting the ball, but then
with his knee. Do you not understand the difference between a foot and a knee and a fist?
Yes, if it's endangering the opponent with force, punching or it's a penalty. That's the rules.
No, it's not.
Those are literally
according to you. It's according to you.
Luca Morelli's wrong there. Luca Morelli, you know the rules better than
same situation.
You know the rules better than Luca Morelli, yeah?
So the same situation
better than Luca Morelli.
Well, same situation with Luca Morelli. When it came to Maignan, then all of a sudden it's not a penalty. Questo non è mai rigore per me. This is never a penalty for me.
All right.
Less than 2 years ago. Less than 2 years ago.
Okay. Luca Morelli's against the downtrodden Inter. That's right.
No, I forgot. It's only Juventus who are the poor.
Are Inter downtrodden? Are they? Is the whole system against Inter?
It's obvious.
Yeah. The whole system's against Inter. Yeah.
It is clear. Let me say something very clear. Like I said 2 weeks ago, it is obvious for everyone to see.
So Inter are not part of the 14 teams of Europe, the superpowers of Europe, along with Juventus, Milan, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. They're just in there just for just for fun.
Yeah, right. We're doing
they're
again.
They're not part of the European establishment. Inter, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester United. Listen, you need to stop this.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That's complete bollocks. You're chatting shit. You're chatting shit. You're completely making a ridiculous false straw man argument.
Inter are not the downtrodden. Okay,
Inter are getting systematically rat fucked in this league, and it's obvious for everyone to see. It's obvious for everyone to see because the false equivalency is continuous. Continuous.
Inter have the most penalties, the least yellow cards.
Because they deserve them. Because they deserve them. Because they deserve them. Because they deserve them.
Where's the rat fucking? This is the thing. Where's the rat fucking? Where's the rat fucking? Talk facts, not emotion.
I am literally talking facts. I'm literally talking facts. Yes,
you can punch in the face, and
it's not. It's not because it's not.
Someone in the face, and that's a rat fucking.
Why is it not? So when other goalkeepers do it, it's not. But when Inter do it, all of a sudden everybody remembers this rule, but it doesn't apply less than 2 years ago. Stop the bullshit.
2 years.
Stop the bullshit. Stop the bullshit.
We can do this with everything, Nima. We can go back and do whataboutism. Juventus can talk about them. Juventus can talk about Milik sending off, which is the correct decision, right? And then they can talk about what about Berardi? Berardi didn't get sent off against Sassuolo. So were Juventus getting wrapped up? Juventus are getting wrapped up as well.
This is exactly the bullshit gaslighting and false equivalency that you go be non-stop doing for 100 years. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
because Milik got a red card. So naturally, by Gobbi logic, in Italy, the Inter have to get a red card.
No,
doesn't matter if it doesn't get a red card or not.
I'm saying that's ridiculous. I'm saying anybody that uses that logic, which is exactly what you're using.
No, it isn't. My logic is exactly what I'm saying. My logic is exactly this. That is never. I want the same things to apply to every team, but you don't want that.
Well,
you say,
that's fine. That's fine. If we want the same logic to apply to everyone, then stupid Juventus fans that say Berardi should have been sent off and Juventus wouldn't have lost that game 4-1. That's exactly the same. That's exactly the same argument you're using with Magnon. With Magnon, you're saying Magnon got sent. I haven't seen this I need to see it. 2 years ago, I can't remember it. You're saying that if Magnon should have been sent off if we were using the same logic that we used for Sommer, well, then Juventus fans can say the same thing about Milik, who deservedly got sent off, by the way.
Because this wasn't deservedly.
Berardi should have got sent off when the score was level during the Sassuolo game. Juventus would have probably gone on to win that game. Instead, they lose 4-1. Well, then Juventus fans are going to say, well, Juventus are getting rat fucked because the same logic wasn't used for the Berardi game. So this is what I'm talking about.
No, it's not. It's not. But
that's exactly the same line of argument.
It's not because you're equating different situations that have nothing to do with one another.
It's the same.
That's what you know. It's not the same. It's always the same.
Was Berardi a red card? Was Berardi a red card against Sassuolo? If you're using the same logic as Milik, was it? Yes, it was. If you're using the same logic as Milik's red card on Saturday, then so was Berardi's. That's fine, whatever.
I don't remember that situation exactly, just like you don't remember the Magnon situation. I'll have to look at it. No, I don't remember it. I don't remember it. Okay. I can say the same thing about you and Magnon and Lovato because everybody was talking about it at the time.
I'm saying my exact argument is we shouldn't be looking back at these ridiculous incidents from 2 years.
I think we should. I think we should demand the same standard.
That's all you do. You can never own each incident.
I want the same standard applied across the board.
You can never own each incident. You always have to go back instead of saying, was this or not?
Because I'm looking for the same. No, I'm looking for consistency, and I want clarity, consistency applied across the board. That's not an outrage. That is how things should work. But you don't look for that. You say, well, Inter got a penalty, so Juve should have a penalty.
No, my line of argument is just own each incident. I'm saying I'm fed up.
There is nothing to own here. There is nothing to own here.
I'm also saying the whole idea about the downtrodden is ridiculous.
There is no. What's ridiculous?
It's ridiculous. Anybody other than
What's ridiculous is that Freddy Catty Pussycat gets to punch people in the face without any
and if that was Sommer, you would say that's not that you're allowed to do it.
The ball he's not even a goalkeeper. The ball wasn't even there. He literally punched Kvaratskhelia and Juric in the face for no fucking reason. What are you talking about? This is a ridiculous gaslighting, strawmanning, and equating of ridiculous situations that I'm talking about.
Okay. Inter
utterly bizarre.
Inter the downtrodden. They're not in establishment.
No, Juve are the poor. Juve are the ones who are always poor little Juve. They're just unlucky.
Juventus are an establishment. No. Juventus are part of the establishment. So are Inter. That's it.
No, they're not.
Inter are an establishment company. You just have to accept that Inter are part of this European establishment. You just have to accept
this is a false equivalency. There is no equivalency between these two situations. There are none.
Listen, Nima, I hate the establishment as much as you do. We talk about
you don't. You literally support FC Agnelli, the crime family. Yeah. What are you talking about?
Well, you support Inter, who are part of the establishment. Just accept that they are part of the European establishment. Just like Milan, like Juventus, like Bayern Munich, like Real Madrid, like Manchester United, like these teams, PSG now.
This is non sequitur. It has nothing to do with the situation that we're talking about. I'm talking about the Serie A. I'm talking about the Serie A.
The narrative that you try and paint is that the whole world is against Inter.
Not the whole world. Not the whole world. Just the Serie A and the rat fucking, the systematic rat fucking that we've seen, and they ain't running out of any rats soon in the Serie A. I'll tell you that much. Let me say something perfectly clear. There is zero chance that Inter will be allowed to beat Juve next weekend. I guarantee you, zero chance that Inter will be allowed to beat Juve next weekend because they're laying the groundwork. We'll see.
They've been laying the groundwork for 3 weeks now, and I haven't seen it. Haven't seen it yet. But anyway.
Just like I did 2 weeks ago, and we saw it yesterday in Fiorentina. Just like we saw it when Spalletti was the coach of Inter, and the VAR when the ball hit D'Ambrosio's chest, and everyone and the VAR
given a penalty for punching a striker in the head is rat fucking. Okay,
because he didn't do that. He took the ball. No, that's not the definition.
Irrelevant. Listen, Nima, you know the rules. Irrelevant whether you got the ball. If you punch.
No, it's not. That's what you don't understand. That's what you refuse to understand. That when you're going for the ball and you take the ball first, then it's not.
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. If you're endangering the opponent with force, which is what happened, it's a penalty, which is exactly what Luca Morelli says. He read out the rules and said it.
And in the same situation, you might not like the rules. And you may not like the rules when they go against you, so you hone in like a laser.
So what is it then? Is it in the rules, or is it because there was an incident 2 years ago?
Is it the face in the same situation when he came out to take the ball? Luca Morelli literally said, "This is not a penalty."
First of all, it's the rules, and now it's because something happened 2 years ago that wasn't given. So
it's the same situation. It's the application of the rules. It's the application of the laws of the game that I'm looking for consistently across the board. Identical situations, one given, and you're acting here pearl clutching.
I'm not pearl clutching.
Yes, you are. You're pearl clutching, pretending because it's obvious for everyone to see. Because it's obvious for everyone to see.
I don't think so.
Well, of course not. Well, you still think that Moratti did Calciopoli, so what am I talking about here?
I don't believe that. Now you're putting words in my mouth. I don't believe that. So anyway, that is classic. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. I think anybody other than the most fanatical Inter fans will.
No. Anyone with a pair of functioning eyeballs can see that that's not a penalty.
Really? Show me them. Show me the people that. Show me the non-fanatical Inter fans that wasn't a penalty. Show me them to me. Show them.
I can show you.
Show me them.
Yeah, I'll tell you who. You want one who's not I'm so glad you said that. You walked right into my trap. Emiliano Viviano, former Fiorentina, the biggest Fiorentina fan on earth. Okay, yesterday said, former goalkeeper said, that is never in a million years a penalty. Che come cazzo si fa a dare un rigore qui? He said, literally verbatim. How the F do you give a penalty there?
Okay.
You asked for a non-fanatical. I gave you a fanatical Fiorentina fan who literally said that as much.
Okay, there we go. There's one. Find me more. Yeah. Find me more.
What is this? Some sort of a fight? No, I don't need to find you jack shit. I literally just disprove your bullshit point.
Oh, right. So just because Emiliano...
No, not just Emiliano Viviano. Not just Emiliano. Luca Morelli himself in a different situation when it was Milan.
Okay, but Luca Morelli said...
Literally Luca Morelli.
Luca Morelli.
I'm using Luca Morelli. Fantastic.
Luca Morelli said last night it was a penalty.
And he said 2 years ago that this is never a penalty. Funny. What happened in those 2 years?
Well, he's obviously part of the conspiracy against the downtrodden.
No, you're right. No, he just said ci può stare.
Fighting against the system.
Forget about it. Now it's time for you to do your favorite go beat song and dance, the Donny Brasco side hustle. Forget about it. You're making it personal.
I think you're the one that started this, Nima, as you do every single week. No. It's
because you refuse. You always do this. It's this ridiculous notion. This ridiculous false equivalency time and time again with situations that aren't the same, and say, well, he got one and he got one. No,
you're the one doing the whataboutism. I never.
No, I'm not doing
the whataboutism.
I'm asking for the same loss of the game. I'm asking for the same
year or back to other incidences.
Of course I do. It's the same situation with the same laws of the game in the same league. Well, what's the difference? And the same people doing the analysis. But when it comes to Inter, it's always but when it comes to Milan and Juve, it's never.
Really? Okay, let's do it for Juve then. Milik and Berardi, same incidency. Juventus got rat-fucked. Juventus are getting rat-fucked as well. That's the same thing.
Well, I don't remember that incident, but I'll have a look at it. We can get back. No, I don't. You don't remember the Magnon Lovato incident, so why don't you remember the Berardi?
I don't, because it was fucking 2 years ago. Berardi one was like 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
It was the beginning of the season.
It was like 3 months ago. So anyway, look, let's move on. Let's talk about Fiorentina.
This is great quality content for everyone.
Everybody's going to have enjoyed listening to that. That's for sure. So Fiorentina, listen, I thought they were really good. And they just definitely, for me, deserved a draw in this game. I think the XG shows that. Forgetting about the penalty, even if you take the penalty away, they've got a higher XG than Inter in this game. They had double the amount of shots. They had 60% possession. And
I'm going to have to turn this into an explicit, given the swearing, this is going to be one of those I have to tag this with explicitives in the pod.
Yeah, this is an all-timer, I think. So they're let down by their attack again. They're let down by their attack once again. It's just nothing in the attack. I mean, they've now actually got no goals in 4 of their last 5 games. They've failed to score in 4 of their last 5 games. And it's so frustrating because they play such good football before they get to their final third, and then there's just nothing in that attack. I mean, Gonzalez, obviously, forget about his penalty, which was awful, but he's a fantastic player. He's been out for a while during this run. He came back on as a sub, so he's going to help there. He's obviously short of match fitness and rhythm and everything in this game. But the rest of them, I mean, Ikone, Unzola was actually quite a handful in the air. I thought he actually, I know he's going to get a lot of stick, but I thought he actually caused quite a few, that they could go long to him. But obviously on the floor, he's just not a footballer and he's not at this level. And then Beltran he's not done well since he joined. And then all the other options they've got. It's just the same story that we say all the time with Fiorentina. They've just got no they're just attackers, just not at the level required. Those two Unzola blocks that were fantastic blocks, but also weren't very good finishes. He didn't shoot them cleanly, and that's why that's what let them down.
Look, you know what I think about when it comes to Vincenzo Italiano and strikers. I think there's something there. Except for Vlahovic, I mean, every single striker that's been there just seems to die when there, and I don't understand why that is, because it's a team that has lots of possession, they create chances, but for some reason, strikers who play in a central role just can't seem to score unless you're someone like Nzola, who, you live off of your physique and strength, right? And that's a problem. That's a real problem. And I don't get it. I really don't understand what the issue is, because it can't be everyone else's fault. It can't be Luka Jovic's fault. It can't be Cabral's fault. It can't be, it can't be only them. They can't all suck. And in a system where you create chances, and Luka Jovic goes to Milan and scores every time he comes on the pitch as a substitute. Do you know what I mean? It's just, there's something here. It could be just by chance, absolutely, theoretically possible. I just don't think it is. I don't know what it is, but I think it's very, very strange. It's a very, very, very strange thing that happens with Fiorentina every time they, under Italiano, and they've tried to address it by signing strikers, but they just can't seem to make it happen for them.
Yeah,
I don't understand why that is. I really don't understand. I've looked at it. I mean, they do everything right. The build up is correct. They do everything right. It's just they can't score, and their strikers seem to go there. It's like a mortuary for strikers.
I think I would agree with you more if the looking at if the chance creation and the XG wasn't good, then I agree with you more. Not that you're really necessarily saying that, you're just putting that forward, but it's exactly. It's an interesting argument. Maybe there is something there in that, he can't get his strikers to improve, his attackers to improve. Maybe there's something in that, but I don't think there's definitely not a problem in terms of chance creation, because you look at the numbers and Fiorentina create a lot of chances, and their XG is consistently one of the best in the league. So I don't think it's that. I think it's more down to the fact that these attackers just aren't good enough, because Gonzalez has always been fantastic. So why does it not apply to Gonzalez, but it does to the others? I just don't think these players are good enough. I mean, Unzola, but then again, look at Jovic. He's started to reborn, so there might be something in it there with Jovic. He started to look really good now for Milan, hasn't he? But then again, we also accept that he's not good enough to be Milan's first choice striker. So I just think they're just not good enough, these attackers. I really do. I think it's as simple as that.
I mean, that is absolutely theoretically possible.
I mean, would any of these Fiorentina players, would you take them for any of the other?
Well, not the
big
top
clubs,
four. No,
top seven.
Top three. No, definitely not.
Well, definitely not top three, but top seven. I mean, would Sotil, would Beltran, would Unzola, would Ikone, would any of these get into a Roma or a Lazio team, or would they be good enough?
No,
would they be good enough for a Roma or Lazio team? I think the answer is no. They're not.
Well, maybe Lazio. I think it's touch and go.
But they wouldn't be good enough for a Lazio team that wants to say fight for, top four or whatever. So. I don't know.
I'm just saying that it's strange. I think it's strange because they create so much, and they build up play, and the possession is very, that's sound in terms of, if you look at what they want to do and the football they want to play, it's all very sound, and they have a clear identity and all of that. But when it comes to the last third, it's as if the strikers who. Every single striker is always who's there, except for Vlahovic, doesn't know what he's doing, and just disappears, and they end up playing Brexit ball in the sense that they just hurl the ball upwards to Nzola because he's big and strong in the air, and I just find that really weird. I really do. I don't get it. I really don't understand what it is. And I'm like you said, I'm not saying. I'm just putting it forward that maybe there's something here. It could very much be that the quality of the players they've had is not good enough. But I just think it's weird because it just keeps on happening. Because Nico Gonzalez seems to thrive. The wide players, if they're good enough, seem to thrive, but the central players in that position just don't. Maybe it's time to move away from maybe play with a false nine. That helped Sarri when he had to at
maybe, yeah. I mean, when Beltran plays, he does come quite deep, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the only other point I wanted to make, and we better move on now, is Parisi. I really like the player. I really love him. I thought he was really good as well in this game, coming forward. He's got the pace. He was really driving down the left flank. He's good one-on-one. When players are running at him, he doesn't really get done. But he has a big problem that he really needs to sort out. He can't defend crosses. He cannot defend crosses.
Sure.
I mean, we saw that on the goal, obviously. But, I mean, okay, fair enough. He's marking Lautaro, who's one of the smaller guys, and Inter have a lot of big players. So I personally would just have him on the edge of the box or something rather than defending crosses. But, you see it a lot when balls get put in from the left. Teams target it. Teams put in crosses from the left-hand side over to the back post, and he's defending his far post. He can't defend. He can't defend crosses. He does get caught out positionally occasionally, which is his other weakness. But those are his two issues which he needs to work on, Parisi, because I'm a big fan of him and I think he's got big potential. There's a ceiling is high there with him, but he can't defend crosses. So that's the only other thing I want to say about Parisi. Okay,
he's short. He's not very good. Like, he is a tiny guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's that is a problem, and especially nowadays when you're wide players, they have to be able to mark that run from the wing, don't they? And if you can't do that, then that's a big problem. Big problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's move on to Juventus now, who gave an absolute gift to Inter,
which is why you're so upset.
No, I'm not really. I mean, I'm not. You know me. I don't care about. I know you're playing. I don't care about club football, Nima, anymore. I really don't.
You do.
I don't.
You do. It's okay. I'm not.
I don't, Nima. I don't. Everybody that knows me knows I'm not. I absolutely fanatical about the Italy national team, and I'm really angry. When Italy get done. I mean, get done. Lose. What when they lose?
I'm sorry, we're past the swearing part on this.
Yeah,
episode.
when they lose, full
well.
stop. I don't care about club. My heart is not club. Obviously, I still love Italian football. We do this pod. Yeah. We want to produce a great show for you guys. I watch all the games. It's one of my escapes. I don't care. I don't get upset with football anymore. When Juventus were my team as a kid, or even Italian teams in Europe. I love. That was one of my. Watching Italian teams, wanting them to do win in Europe, all of them, Inter included. I want them to do win in Europe. I don't care. I've lost my love for club football. It's gone because of the way the way it's gone. So I don't get upset or angry anymore. I know that's just me having an argument with you over who's right and wrong, not over my team against your team. That's just how I am. And everybody that knows me knows that's the way I am. So Juventus joins at Empoli. I mean. Yeah, part of me's like, what the hell have you done? But, it doesn't, I forget about it within seconds. It doesn't bother me. I went out on Saturday night. I don't even think about it the rest of the night.
I saw you guys looked to have a good night. It looked like a good night.
Yeah. So it's the way I look at this game with the Empoli game is, of course, the Milik red card has conditioned this game. He's got sent off after 17 minutes. It is the right decision, as I said before. It's a stupid one from Milik, but at the same time, I think it's something that in modern football happens a lot because anybody that's played football knows that when the ball is there to be won and you just kind of lunge for it and just put your foot out, you're naturally, a lot of the time, your studs will come up and you do run the risk of catching the player. Now, that's not me saying it's not a red card. It is a red card, and it has to be a red card because it's endangering an opponent, and it's a leg break. But I'm just saying that I don't want to blame Milik too much because I know that this kind of thing can happen, especially when you're over eager and you really want to win that ball and you want to be aggressive and competitive. That this kind of
for
stuff.
me, it's not. For me, it's like, why do you go in with the studs like that? That's what I think. That's what I don't want to see. It's the same thing with Malinovsky. It's the same thing we've seen. I think that here's something they've actually got right. We don't want to see those challenges because they can ruin careers. They can seriously.
They can. I'm just saying that when you go for the ball and the ball's out there to win, you naturally, when you just try and reach for that ball and you lunge for that ball, I'm not saying necessarily that's the way to describe this incident, but other incidences where a player lunges for the ball and they catch the player with it. So that this is something that can happen on the football pitch. So that's why I don't want to blame Milik too much. I mean, yes, he's stupid because probably the only way that Juventus don't win this game is by getting a red card. But he apologised. Shit happens. I mean, for me, Allegri, who I praised a lot,
begrudgingly.
Well, I have praised a lot in the last few months. He should. Why did he start Milik in this game? Why he should have just kept the same attack? I mean, look, he should have kept Yildiz and Vlahovic, who've been working really well together, and they were on a 7-game winning streak. Where it was a 6 or 7 game winning streak. Yeah. Just keep the same team. Milik and Vlahovic can't play together anyway. I mean, I've always said, the twin towers. I mean, as Sven-Goran Eriksson once said on our pod once.
I mean, that.
Playing twin towers, they're too alike to play alongside each other. Regardless of that, I still think they would have won the game without the red card. But I have to blame Allegri for starting them together. I also have to blame Allegri because. He's been out of context, Carlo. Allegri went against his own rules of one game at a time, focus on the next game, just concentrate on the next game. He's been thinking ahead too much. He's been overplaying these psychological games with Inter, trying to troll into these cops and robbers and this all this stuff, which I know is funny. I know you find it funny and everything, but he's overplaying it. Like, he should have been concentrating on making sure you win this game. Then you concentrate on the psychologicals. Then in the lead up to the game on this day, then you can have fun and you can do your little games and then you can do it again in March and April when you're closer to the finish line. Then you can do it. Don't start doing it. He went too early and he was overdoing it, and as a result, they took their mind, their eye off the ball, and this is what happens. And it's a disastrous result for Juventus. Absolutely disastrous, because now Inter go top. Inter win their game in hand. They go 4 points clear. Juventus have to win this weekend. They have to win. They have to. Yeah. A draw's not good enough because Inter can win the game and go 4 points clear. And Inter are too strong. They're not going to slip up much, Inter. They might slip up a bit when there's some games coming up and they're going to be a heavy calendar, but they are not going to slip up much between now and the good season. They're too good. So this is a disastrous result for Juventus.
Well, it's a disastrous result for Juve if you expect Juve to fight for the scudetto, and I was not expecting them to fight for the scudetto. I think they're overachieving and overperforming, and they're going to finish top 4 handily and healthily by a wide margin. They're going to have their highest points tally in many, many years, in 3, 4, 5 seasons. And I think the quality showed. Juventus have been overperforming somewhat, and these things even out over the course of a season, and I think that's what we saw. I do think it was an underperformance by Juve in this particular game, for sure. There's no doubt, because Empoli are a horrid team. They are unwatchable. I don't root for teams to get relegated and stuff, but Serie A, Empoli needs to leave the Serie A. Like, they are not good enough. This was embarrassing to watch at times. They could barely string two passes together. And then that's on the back of Davide Nicola trying to stabilize this and doing actually a decent job. But no, it's
well. This is it, Nima. This is where the lack of quality in Juventus, but also I think and I am going to be critical. I am critical of Allegri on today's episode, as you can see.
Oh, really?
For the first time in a long time, let me say, a good 2 or 3 months. No, but this is where the philosophical issues. This is where the philosophical issues of Allegri are highlighted in this game, because when you're down to 10 men, the lack of the attacking patterns and the lack of ability for Juventus just to keep the ball and have possession of the ball, even when you're down to 10 men, like you said, you're playing against Empoli. Empoli are a poor team.
They really
Empoli,
are.
I don't care. Even if you're playing against 10 men, Empoli shouldn't be having almost 60% of possession and be controlling the game. And Juventus are just, are just basically defending against them. That should not be happening, even if you're down to 10 men against Empoli, even with these Juventus players. And those lack of attacking patterns that we talk about, even when Juventus have been getting so many good results as they have, when you have a one man down, that shows you, because you can't move up the pitch with your passing moves, and when you can't keep the ball, it really penalises you when you're down to 10. But also added to that, the lack of Juventus players who can beat players and have any kind of individualism is also really apparent in a game when you're down to 10 men. Because this kind of game, you need a dribbler like a Chiesa or a Yildiz, which is why I'm also critical that Yildiz didn't come on to, I think, the 78th minute or 79th minute. That you need those kind of players that can carry the ball and can eliminate a man to create an even matchup again. Juventus didn't have any of those players. They just have solid structural players who stay in their, keeping their position. Cambiasso is maybe an exception to that, and I thought he was very good again. So that was why I think it was so comfortable in this game for Empoli, and Juventus were largely comfortable. I mean, they didn't really concede any chances, but they made no attempt to attack in the first half after the red card. Then they got the goal through Vlahovic, who I thought was excellent, by the way.
He was very good.
He was playing on his own. He was so isolated. He was like Moses in the desert. He was like, there was no one anywhere near him within miles of him. I mean, he was so isolated. But I mean, I think that after the Vlahovic goal, again, they sat back too much, and they invited Empoli to attack. That gave Nicola the encouragement to bring on Baldanzi and Cancellieri. And really, it wasn't until after the equaliser that then Juventus showed a bit more urgency with Yildiz coming on. So I just thought it was just a little bit, he was too cautious in this game. I think he should have been a little bit more ambitious. Even though you're down to 10 men, you're playing against a really poor team. But like you said, the lack of quality also probably.
I think it shows. I think it's also, it's a Juve team that they're still, it's pretty young. They're learning. I think this is kind of what we say in Sweden, learning money. When you lose money on something stupid, this is what Juve did. They threw away 2 points, and Allegri will make sure they don't do it again. And I think it's part of the learning curve that this young Juve side is on. And I think they despite going down to 10 men, I think they played actually okay. They took over and they scored afterwards. And for me, it's more an issue of, I think what the problem here was that after they didn't manage their energy levels, in the sense that I think they went too hard on Empoli after they got that sending off to get that goal, and that somehow they kind of ran out of steam a little bit and allowed so that when Empoli obviously were going to take over because they had that numerical advantage, they were too deep. They didn't have the energy to press high up to chase the life out of Empoli, which they had been doing up until that red card. And so I think it's one of those things where you learn from your mistakes, and and I think it's a Juventus that continues to grow, and this is going to be a learning experience.
Some of the players, you saw the lack of quality though of individual players that just don't look like Juventus. I mean, Alexandra's a joke. He did do what, to be fair to him, he did one really good goal saving clearance. But he's a joke. Like on some of the balls he gave away. Moretti, I mean, we've said it before. I mean, he did a huge miss from a big mistake. That was the only real chance Juventus had, other than the goal. He should have scored. It's harder to miss than score, but I mean, he just doesn't do anything. Moretti, he does nothing. He doesn't score. He doesn't assist. He's so weak. He seems so physically and mentally weak. I mean, he's not developing. Szczesny on the goal is an interesting one. It's an interesting one because Baldanzi's hit that with his swinger, with his right foot. And it's not a very powerful shot. It is in the corner, but it's quite a weak daisy cutter. But then again, when it comes through bodies, through legs,
he saw it late.
It went
and
through
it's so
legs.
well placed, isn't it?
It's not easy, but yeah, it wasn't a very powerful shot. So I'm a little bit torn on that.
But the fact that Baldanzi comes on and equalizes,
yes,
and
I know.
the Empoli playing a 3-5-2. I'm sorry, but I didn't want to. It was literally like the group chat with one of our friends said, it's like life is trolling Carlo.
Yes.
It literally felt like that. I'm sorry, but sometimes you have those moments, and it's like
he was very good when he come on, and he showed his quality. And there have been talks about him going to Roma.
I hope he does go to Roma.
I hope so too. Yeah.
I think even if he doesn't play, he will be training with better players. He will be in a better.
Oh, he's going to be learning from Paulo Dybala, who's a very similar player to him. I mean, that's got to help him, isn't it?
That's got to help him as well. So I think, without a doubt, I hope he goes there. I love the player. You know me. I love these number 10s, these old school, these kinds of.
It's all about with him. It's about finding the right coach and the right team that plays the right football to get him into the system. It's not, I'm be honest. It's not going to be an easy one because he isn't classically a modern player, but he's got so much quality and such an amazing left foot.
I love him. I really like.
There's got to be a place for him somehow.
Agree. No.
Anyway, Lazio Napoli. We won't waste too much time on this one. This should have been the game of the weekend, or along with Fiorentina into the game of the weekend. This is one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life.
Without a doubt,
it's the worst game of the season. It was just awful quality. No chances.
It really was like this was dreary. And I mean, I like defensive football, and but this wasn't. This was just nothing. There was nothing there. And I can't. I mean, I don't even know. I can't even just blame Napoli. I thought Lazio were dreadful too. It was an awful game. Both of them had decided that we don't want to lose. That they both decided pre-game that all we want is to not lose. And I don't have a problem with that. If fine, that happens. But not even trying to score a goal. Lazio tried. I think when was it that?
Yeah, Lazio did try a little bit. They just didn't have any quality. But Napoli made no attempt at all in this game.
It was really awful. I was really disappointed because I expected more. I really did expect more. I mean, again, I don't have any problem. I don't like that. I have no problem with defensive football and playing, that kind of game. But I mean, 0.06 xG at the 70th minute mark for Napoli.
No, they finished with 0.14. So they doubled. They doubled that in the last 20 minutes.
That's just. I don't even know what to say to that.
No,
it's like. I mean, I get it. He wants to stabilize the defense, but you can't. It's embarrassing. It was embarrassing. No shots on target the entire game. That is just
no shots on target and 0.14 xG. I mean, we're talking about Vlahovic being Moses in the desert. What was Raspadori? Come on, you're good at your part.
No.
Go on. If Vlahovic was Moses in the desert, what was Raspadori? Raspadori was like that film on the desert island with what was his name? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks on the island.
Yeah. Robinson Crusoe. I mean, it's just like without Friday. It's just like no. It was turgid. It was just unwatchable. And Mazzarri. Look, I get that at the end of the season, this point could be important, and I get that they're decimated and they're lacking players. But for the love of God, try at least.
Yeah, they're without Osimhen, Kvaratskhelia. We have to acknowledge that. That's obviously whether you've got no patterns of play, which they don't since Mazzarri's come in. They've got no attacking patterns of play. Osimhen and Kvara are going to do stuff. They're going to do stuff on their own or between themselves.
Was also
but you can't create. Nima, you can't create and threaten this little as Napoli have against Inter and Lazio in these two games. And the thing is, it's not magically against smaller teams. It's going to be a different types of games because Napoli can't play, with their defence so deep and sitting back. They're going to have to come out and play. And then when that happens, then the defensive issues maybe start to materialise. I mean, they failed to score in 8 of the 14 games under Mazzarri. That was Patrick Kendrick tweeted that yesterday. I mean, that's with the attacking quality that Napoli have got. They've got 1 win in 6 games. These numbers, I've said it, I don't know how many times I've said, these numbers aren't getting Napoli into the top 4 because those numbers aren't magically going to just improve. That's not how football works. They don't just magically, all of a sudden, things just fall into place when you're not seeing any signs of it. And the good thing for Napoli is they're still in striking distance of 4th. Fiorentina have lost. I think how many points are they off the top four? Is it 5 off Atalanta? I believe. I think they're 5 points off Atalanta. So
Napoli. No, they're 4 points.
4 points. So I mean, they're well in striking distance. So I don't know how that is possible, but fifth place might still get the Champions League.
But so I have to say, in the last 10, 12 years, I can't think of a more. I mean, I'm going to look into this properly for future episodes, but the total to finish fourth this year is going to be the lowest in a very long time.
It could even be 60 points at this rate.
It's just, I mean, seriously, that's bad. That is so bad. I mean, if they don't even reach 60 points, then I
think they'll reach even 60. But I mean, if it keeps going as it is, it could soon be 60.
58 points could at this rate, 50, 59, 58. I mean, come on.
I mean, Lazio. If we talk about Lazio a bit now. Just to finish off on Napoli, can I just say one other thing? Napoli have gone from the best and most expensive team to watch in Serie A and maybe even in Europe to like the most boring and like the team that are just have no cohesion and nothing at all. It's quite incredible how it's gone like that in the space of 9 months, isn't it? How is that even possible?
I don't know. It just goes to show how important it is to have good people working at a club, like a coach, like a sporting director, like someone. It's not just
the players. Yeah,
it's not just the players. It's not just the owners. You need everyone in synergy moving in the right direction. And in Napoli, since they won the scudetto, there's been none of that. It's been one owner who thinks he's God. And everything he does, it's him. He won the scudetto for Napoli. Who cares about the coach? Who cares about the sporting director? Screw everyone. I'm the best ever. Well, congratulations, Aurelio. You destroyed your own beautiful creation that you assembled with your money and contacts, but you destroyed it because your arrogance got in the way. And he's kind of already admitted that when he apologized and said, I'm the one who's responsible for it, because it's genuinely, I mean, again, in these last 5 years, Napoli were by far the best position to open a winning cycle of all teams who've won the Scudetto. And they will end up the season being the worst title defender.
Yeah, well, they're ninth. They're ninth at the moment.
They're ninth.
Ninth, yeah.
It's just like, I don't even know what to say to that. And all they lost was Kim Min-jae in terms of squad players. But every other situation, it's because you didn't hire a sporting director when you knew Giuntoli wanted to leave. You dragged that out. You didn't hire a proper replacement for Spalletti. And the funny thing is, he boasted about it himself, saying, I wanted to sack him on the spot when I appointed him, and he said he didn't watch us last season. Well, shouldn't you have known that before appointing him? I mean, I don't know what to say.
No. We could be here all night dissecting the post-mortem of
it's embarrassing.
Napoli. Right.
And I feel bad for Napoli fans. They deserve better. They really deserve better.
Of course.
It's embarrassing how for them, because they were so happy about it. They finally won that Scudetto. They finally reached that promised land, and they were in such a good position to open up a winning cycle, and instead it's just sunk like the Titanic.
Yeah. No, for sure. Lazio, just a few words on them. Like you said, I agree. Lazio at least did try to play for the win in this game. But as we have seen for much of the season, their attack is lacking in quality. It's not the same attack as they had. And Tati Castellanos, who started because Immobile was suspended, he hasn't done enough to suggest that he can succeed him, either now or for the future, has he? He's because I thought he showed some decent signs at the start of the season, but he hasn't. Yeah, he hasn't done it. Felipe Anderson has who actually I thought was one of the better players in this game. He's dipped a lot this season. I mean, you see that in his output. Look at the number of goals, and he's only got 2 goals this season.
He's had a horrible season.
Now his contract runs out in the summer. I don't understand. I don't want to make this about Juventus. I don't understand why Juventus are in talks to sign him on a free transfer. I mean, he seems on the slide for me, and the fact that he's turning 31 by the end of the season, it doesn't make much sense to me.
It's because Juve are in a financial predicament. A lot of people keep, banging on about why don't Juve sign this, that, and the other. But what are they going to do? They're literally in a mess financially.
That's fine, but again, why 31-year-old go for? They've got players like Yildiz. Carry on that kind of way of doing things. I mean, not a 31-year-old who looks like he's on the slide and has got 2 goals. And then also Isaacson. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't scored in Serie A this season. So, you know, it's that's
he got
what,
one goal. I don't think he scored it. I think he scored in the. I think he scored in the Europa League or something.
Yeah. The other
he scored in the Serie A actually against
scored
against Frosinone when they won 3-1.
Okay,
he scored one and made an assist.
Okay, there you go. So he's only got one goal. The same number as Anthony at Manchester United, who got his first. His first goal.
But they paid a little bit more for Anthony than Lazio did for
just 100 million.
So let's be fair here. Let's be fair.
Yeah. The other point I wanted to make though, while we're on this point, this season Serie A hasn't been good for offensive and expansive football among the big clubs, because that's what been one of the most refreshing things about Serie A, that Serie A had become like the season the league for the neutrals, because there was more goals than any other league for a number of seasons in a row, but also like the offensive players. Now this season, I mean, Juventus, of course, under Allegri, we know that's their style of play, but Napoli, Lazio, Roma under Mourinho, of course, we hope that will change now under De Rossi, and then Bologna as well are not really big scorers, even if they play, I think they do play lovely patterns. There's a lot of teams, aren't there, at the top that are not really playing the most exciting, or don't have the most potent attacks, let's say.
Which is really that's a brilliant segue, because we had 4 missed penalties this weekend in the Serie A, and 4 missed penalties, and they were all really awful. And I think, I mean, of course, that's not you can't really draw too many conclusions from that, but I do think it adds to the thing that you've said, to your argument, which I 100% agree with. I think in terms of overall quality in the final third this season, the Serie A has dropped. Yes, I think that is, you have individual players who've done great, like Lautaro, but overall the attacking quality of the league is not what it was last year and the season before that. I think that's a very, very fair assessment. Very fair assessment.
Yeah, okay. Milan Bologna, though, was a very exciting game in terms of offence, though. 2-2, really eventful match. 4 goals, 2 penalties missed, an injury time equaliser and a red card in this game as well for Motta. Milan, of course, blow the chance to take advantage of the Juventus draw, injury time equaliser. We're way over, so we're going to have to try and go through these as quickly as we can. I'll make some quick points on Milan first. Ruben Loftus-Cheek, from the positive point of view, another 2 goals. That's 4 goals and an assist this month. He's having a great 2024 so far. So well done to him.
I just have to raise my hand up on Ruben Loftus-Cheek. I didn't think he was going to do as well as he's done. I didn't understand that signing, what he was supposed to do. I raise my hands up and say I was completely wrong on that. He's been so good for Milan, and he's become a leader at Milan in that midfield, and I didn't expect that at all. So well done on that signing. I think it's been one of the highlights of the season for Milan. I think he's been. He has.
There was also a great shot from Reinders in this game that hit the bar as well. There was some definitely some offensive quality on show from Milan this game, but unfortunately they're let down by two big points to make in terms of being letdowns for Milan. First of all, the missed penalties. You missed 2 penalties in one game.
I mean, come on. People are angry at Pioli, but what is he supposed to do when your strikers miss, when your players miss 2 penalties? I don't know. I can't blame a coach for a result when you miss 2 penalties. I really can't. I really, really can't. What else can he do? You create chances, you get penalties, and your players miss them. What else is he can't go out on the pitch and take them himself, can he? I mean, it's like what I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Giroud generally had a good record on penalties, but he has missed 2 really costly ones this season, hasn't he? The Champions League one was massively costly against Dortmund, and then this one as well.
And then Theo misses as well.
And then scores the rebound, but it doesn't count, because I think that's a stupid rule, by the way. If you hit the post, it shouldn't count as another touch. I mean, it's not like anybody will ever deliberately shoot at the post, will they?
No, but it should be. But I mean, you're already. I think it's actually a good rule, because you're already at such an advantage to the goalkeeper, towards the goalkeeper.
That's true.
When you're on a penalty.
Yeah, that's fair.
That you mean it's unfair. The penalty, the goalkeeper has 0 chance. Then I mean, you might as well just
actually.
Give the ball.
You know what? Actually, I agree with that. Actually, It's already too. You know my view. I would get rid of penalties because I think they're too much. They're too much.
You want to ruin the game with your circus popcorn,
MLS penalties,
Eagles, the MLS penalties that are just. I die every time. Every time someone sends that to me, I literally die on the inside. Like, how can Carlo want this? Like, it's like literally. Why do you hate football?
I just don't want penalties. I think they're too much of a reward for incidences that are 0.8 chance of scoring from an incident. But anyway, that's another debate in itself. Giroud, again, disappointing if we take his penalty. I mean, again, not enough good or decisive performances over the last year. He pulls out a great performance now and then, but they're not enough of them. Too few and far between. And that just confirms what we've been saying, that Milan definitely need a new number 9, I think, for next season. And of course, the Milan defence, again, repeating ourselves, they're too easy to create chances again. They're too easy to play through. The defensive unit is not good enough. They don't defend the box well enough. The midfield doesn't protect the defence. Without Benacer, they have no defensive midfield able to protect the defence. And the number of goals conceded is crazy for a team that's supposed to fight for the scudetto. I think I said recently that they would, in the 2023 calendar year, they were, I think, 5th most from a Serie A team. And look at the number of goals. That's 25 goals conceded in 22 games. That's just that's just way too many. Way too many.
No, and Theo Hernandez defensively is what's happened to him. What is going on? And again, Mike Mignon at the near post. It's just it's weird. I don't know what is going on at Milan, but I think that I like I said, I'll explain this so people say, "Oh, you're contradicting yourself." No, I'm not, because I think that it's time for Pioli to leave because he's been there for almost 5 years. I think it's time. At some point, you need to refreshen things, and I feel that although the team still reacts to him, I do think they need that kind of spark again. You know what I mean? Like that kind of vitality to kickstart everything. Because I don't think that Pioli has failed at Milan. Far from it. I think he'll go down in history as a Milan hero because of what he did. Look at where Milan were. Look at where Milan are. Look at what he did, what he brought them to. Look at every player he's developed, the young players, everything he's done. I think he deserves nothing but praise. But I think after 5 years, it's time for a fresh start.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's a missed opportunity for Milan because, I mean, they win this game, then they go to 5 points behind Juventus, and then into Juventus this weekend. I mean, whatever happens this weekend, whether Juventus get the result or Inter get the result, or it's a draw, they're going to be gaining on one of them. So at least one of them, if not both of them. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, maybe they can edge their way back in. I don't think they will because, like we said, these issues are holding them back. Bologna, though, point of view, Bologna, big games this season. We've said it before, but this confirms it yet again. They've drawn. They haven't lost all their 3 away games they've played now against the big 3, and they haven't lost to any of them. They've drawn all of them: Milan, Inter, and Juventus, and of course beat Inter in the Coppa. Drawn with Napoli, beat Roma, Lazio, and Atalanta. They've only lost one game to a big team this season, which was Milan on the first game of the season.
Their record away from home is impressive for me. Against Juve and now Milan and Inter. I mean, at the San Siro, they haven't lost this season. They've won once and drawn 2 in Coppa Italia and Serie A, and that's impressive for me. And Zirkzee, look, he he won me over. Like, it's been a continuous process, but after this game.
Yeah, great
he
goal.
Won me over.
Yeah.
No, it's not just a goal. The performance is just he missed a sitter in the first half, in the second half. But what he did to create that space for himself was mental. There's not very many players in the world that can do that. The technique and first touch that he showed, creating that space for himself. Okay, the finishing you can always work on.
Yeah, he's not the clean. He doesn't strike the ball as cleanly as I would like for a top striker. So that's where he needs to improve. But yeah, but it's not.
But his technique and first touch. That's something you can't teach. That's something.
No, he has a unique skill set. There's no doubt about that. For such a big guy to be that good technically, holding the ball up, being able to bring others into play.
I think Milan should move heaven and earth to sign this guy. Like, he should play for. If there was a young, I mean, if you follow the checklist of what Milan look for in players, I think Zirkzee hits everyone. But unfortunately, we know that Bayern Munich has a 40 million buyback clause.
They do. They do.
So
The thing is with Bayern Munich is, look, he's not going to play for Bayern Munich because Harry Kane has got that nailed. So you buy him. It's not Xerxes doesn't have a say in it because they've got a buyback. But you buy him. He's not going to want to be does he want to be a backup for Bayern? Probably not. So what do? Do they buy him and then just sell him on for a profit?
I think they will.
What they could do.
They will. I think they will, and that's why I think it's.
And then that rules out the Italian teams. So
well, of course, if you buy someone for 40 million euros, they want to sell them for 50, 60. There's no chance that no Italian club can pay that kind of money.
Just quickly, Nima, the penalties.
Yeah,
can you just give an explanation here? Or?
Yeah, because the first one is the one that is the contentious one. The second one is. If that's one of the clearest penalties of the year, put his fingers in Leao's eyes in the penalty area. I mean, eye gouging is not allowed, even though it's expressly not in the laws of the game. But the first penalty I was confused by that because Simon Kjær goes down. But I spoke to Alessandro Arbizzani, who was originally from the Monza branch of the Italian Referees Association. He works as in the National Development Panel for Football Australia. He explained that even though it's not explicitly in the laws of the game about these situations, he says it's the weirdest loophole in the laws of the game. It's not a foul as the head shouldn't be there, but these fouls are always called as it's a hit to the head with a boot. It's what we get told and shown at seminars, as it's an interpretation, as the laws never specify this type of challenge, but the directions we get from up top is, when challenging for the ball, foot to head, yellow card, studs to head, face, red card. Doesn't matter how it happens, pretty much. And that's why it's a loophole. There's no clear direction in the laws of the game about it. But football fans, obviously myself included, know this isn't a foul, but the interpretations and directions we're given to apply the law is that regardless, it's always a foul.
Okay.
So it's, and that's what I was referring to earlier, that it depends on the instructions they get told. We want you to interpret the rules in this way. Here, it's clear. You're always responsible for your foot, no matter what happens.
Okay. All right. Well explained. Right. Just quickly, let's round up the other games. So first of all, Atalanta win again against Udinese 2-0. There, when we're talking about the top four race and maybe not reaching the 60 points, well, Atalanta definitely will if they continue this form. 8 wins and a draw in their last 10. De Ketelaere 2 assists. Scamacca got a much-needed goal, first goal in a long, long time. So Atalanta doing great. I just wanted to get your quick thoughts because the very, very stinging criticism from Gasperini before the game of Scamacca, just confirming everything that I said, because I think I was one of the first, maybe the first to really pick up on his lack of movement and his lack of running and saying that it's just not good enough. And now I'm seeing others pick it up, and Gasperini said it himself. He said before the game that Scamacca's movement and running is not good enough, and if he doesn't improve, then he's not going to make it as a top, as a player that we believe he should become. What did you make of Gasperini saying that? Do you think that's just a last desperate kind of cry for him to?
But look, I don't ever think Scamacca he's a big guy. I don't understand. Like, he's never been like Lukaku or Thuram. He's not a pacey guy. He's not that dynamic. He's not Petagna. He's more dynamic than Petagna, but he's not that guy. I've never seen that in his game. So if Gasperini is moaning publicly about that, then why the hell did he sign him to begin with? It makes no sense to me. He's not Duvan Zapata.
Maybe he thought that's something that he can work on.
I think it was pretty evident that the player doesn't have those characteristics at all.
Well, it depends.
I'm not saying he's Petagna, but what I'm saying is he's not as dynamic. He was never that dynamic. He moves, but he's not going to be that high.
I think there's two issues for me. Like, one, the pressing. Like, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to press. I mean, Lukaku is lazy. Tuchel, one of the main reasons Tuchel really didn't like Lukaku is because he didn't press well. He was lazy.
I don't think it's laziness. I think his body's too. He's a big guy. It takes a lot. Zlatan was the same in his entire career. He was never a player like that either, and that's why a lot of people say he failed. Why Guardiola was also unhappy with him in Barcelona. Like, these big guys. It takes a lot out of them.
Okay, well, that's one thing. The other thing is, and this is something that you cannot teach, and this is just your game intelligence, your football IQ, and your game understanding of knowing how to make runs, to make little movements, where to be, where to position yourself, with little darting runs, near post runs, far post runs, just that kind of running, that kind of movement. And Scamacca he's just too static. He just stands still all the time. He doesn't seem to make the right kind of runs, the right kind of movements. And that for me is the bigger concern with Scamacca. And I think that's what Gasperini, because Gasperini is a master, one of the masters in terms of spatial awareness and spatial understanding and, using the space. And I don't think Scamacca knows how to use the space. He can come deep and pick up the ball, lay it off, hold it up. He's really good, but the overall use of the space, I just don't think he's just not good enough with it. And I found that interesting. I don't think Gasperini.
It is interesting.
I don't think Gasperini would have said it unless he wasn't desperate. I don't think you come out and say that publicly unless you're desperate for him to try and force him to change.
Yeah,
but he scored a good finish in this game anyway.
He did. Charles de Ketteler is now on 6 assists. And he's the second, tied for second with Mkhitaryan, Dybala, and Felipe Anderson for assists behind Thuram and Giroud. So, he's unlocked the Kettler, but we kind of expected that, didn't we? That he was going to do well at Atalanta. The Kettler, I did at least. I
wasn't sure how high a level he can get to, and I'm still not sure, to be honest. But you can't argue with those numbers, and he's definitely. No,
he's playing well. He's playing well, and you can see his self-confidence is back.
Yeah, technically, he's a very good player. He's got a very lovely left foot, and there's no doubt about that.
His confidence is back. You can tell the kid isn't afraid of his own shadow like he was for 2 years at Milan. He was literally just scared to be there. He doesn't look like one of the Oliver Twist in one of the musicals where he's going up to the guy asking for more food.
Sir.
Please, sir, can I have some more? That was the body and that was the energy the Kettler had for 2 years at Milan. That's over now.
Yeah.
He looks confident. He looks like a player that believes in himself, and it's like maybe some players can't cut it at big clubs like Milan, Inter, Juve. Atalanta, that level is their level, and doesn't mean they can't be good players or fantastic players. Even we had Papu Gomez, for example, Ilicic. These are great players. So I think Atalanta is a very good environment, and I'm happy for him because I think he got so slated, and I felt so bad for him that I'm happy he's doing well.
Yeah. The rest of the games, I'll just read out the results. So Cagliari 1, Torino 2. Zapata was really good in this game. Genoa 2, Lecce 1. 7 unbeaten for Genoa. They're in really good form, while Lecce are in terrible form and need to start looking over their shoulder a little bit.
One win in 12 games for Lecce.
One in 12. Win. Okay.
I mean,
that's worrying.
That's very worrying.
Yeah. Monza 1, Sassuolo 0. First Colpani goal for over 2 months. And Sassuolo stay in trouble. They also need to look over their shoulder.
Sassuolo, I wonder at what point Sassuolo will fire Dionisi. Because they are, I'm looking at the relegation race now, and between Empoli in 19th on 17 points and Lecce on 14th with 21 points.
Tight, yeah. Very
Sassuolo have 19 points. That's nowhere good enough. At what point will they get rid of Dionisi and bring someone in who can do something? Because it's getting, the fire, it's not just an alarm bell going off. There's a lot of things, they need to deal with this. And because they can get relegated, it's not impossible. It's absolutely not, impossible that they get relegated, and they don't deserve to. I think their squad is too good to be relegated. But if you're not delivering the results, and Dionisi is their defense is atrocious.
Yeah, no, it is. And Verona 1, Frosinone 1. So Verona get a valuable point,
but they missed the penalty, and they should have probably won here because if they'd won, they'd have 20 points. And I think, if Verona pull off...
Well, they move out of the relegation zone. Udinese...
I think Marco Baroni should be named the coach of the year in the Serie A if he manages to keep Verona safe after this. Look at their squad, the fire sale that's going on right now, which we went through on the reasons why, we went through on the Thursday pod for patrons only. It's a horrible squad. And if he manages to keep them safe, which I don't think he will, but if he does, just give him the award for Serie A Coach of the Year, because that's an incredible.
No, I mean, are they even going to have a team to field the way that they're going? They're going to have to play the kit man. They're going to have
Baroni
to play,
will have to come on himself. Like,
I mean, Romeo and Juliet are going to have to play at this rate. I mean, ain't got anybody. Right. We were going to talk about Klopp and Xavi. I'm going to leave that to Thursday because we've gone way over. We'll have a good debate on that on Thursday. Look at kind of which Italian managers and Serie A managers could potentially replace them, and look at who could be the new bosses. Those are big news after they both announced they're leaving at the end of the season at Liverpool and Barcelona. Baggio, let's do Baggio, Premface and Serie Ass of the week. Okay, so Baggio of the week. I have a couple written on here.
Go for it.
So first of all, I want to talk about the Cagliari tribute to Gigi Riva, who sadly died last week at the age of 79. Legend. We did go to our YouTube page. We did a nice little commemoration of him, talking about his career. And so the Cagliari players in their match at the weekend, they wore a replica kit of the 1970 squad in the warm up. Then during the actual game, they moved the sponsorships from the shirts and they replaced with Riva's number 11. And when the team sheet was read out, Gigi Riva number 11 was added onto the end, which resulted in a standing ovation. And his son, Gigi Riva's son, was in the stands as well. And they came out onto the pitch to a famous Gigi Riva song. And there was banners, there was a minute silence in all Serie B and Serie C games. And in the 11th minute, they actually stopped play and they did a round of applause with Riva's image on the screen. So it was just I thought it was just really like you said so many times so well. Like nobody honours their heroes like the Italians do.
Italian football is unmatched and unrivaled for praising their heroes. No matter, like, they never forget, and they never forget who's brought glory to them forever, even long past that person's life, and they pay tribute to that person like no one else does. It's truly one of the most beautiful aspects of Italian football.
Yeah, it really is. The other Baggio of the week is not a football one. It's a sporting one though, and you
have to give it.
And it's Yannick Sinner in the tennis. Amazing achievement, winning the Australian Open against Daniil Medvedev after an epic comeback. I watched this and it was an incredible game. He come from 2 sets down where Medvedev was really dominating him. It looked like it was going to be over, and then he showed Yannick Sinner is your kind of Austrian, German kind of Italian. Like he's
the north, isn't he? Like from the Alps,
he's from there. Yeah, he's from the border, and he's the Austrian border, and he's so like the guy is like an iceman. He shows no emotion at all, and amazing comeback. He's the first Italian male to win a Grand Slam in 48 years. He's the first Italian to win the Australian Open, and he's only the second Italian to win a Grand Slam in the Open era. So it's just an incredible achievement for Italian sport, and he's also a big Milan fan as well.
Yeah, he is.
Huge Milan fan.
Yeah, he goes to games, doesn't he?
He went to watch the Dortmund game, the one we said where Giroud missed the penalty. He was at the San Siro for that game. Yeah, and he's a lovely guy as well. He's a really, really lovely guy. From anybody that people that I know that work in the tennis world, they all say that he's just the most loveliest person.
Yeah.
So it's a great achievement. So well done to Yannick Sinner.
And I think he can actually become, because Djokovic isn't getting any younger, and there's going to be a vacuum after Nadal, Federer, and all these guys, these legends. I think Yannick Sinner could dominate tennis for years to come. He's got no real weaknesses in his game, and his body is so, he's like Osimhen in that sense, that he looks so soft. Like he moves, his movement on the tennis court is so relaxed and smooth and silky, and he's
a massive hitter.
He's
massive hit from the back.
But it looks so effortless. I mean, just look at the match point, the championship point that
what a way to win! What a way to win!
Boom! It was. So
he's fantastic. I think the thing is that I actually think Sinner has a lot of room even to improve still. That's what I think is scary, because I think that he's an amazing baseline player, but he's also, in some ways, he's quite one-dimensional. Like, I do believe, like, he can improve his drop shots. He can improve his use of spins, like slowing the game down. He can come to the net more. He can. I mean, his serve has already improved, but he can improve his serve percentage is quite low actually for a top player. And if he improves his serve percentage, I think he has the I think there's a big room for improvement there. I do think though. Yes, I agree. I think him and Carlos Alcaraz. I think those are going to be like the Federer and Nadal of their generation. I'm not saying that they're going to be as good as them necessarily, but I'm saying that they're going to be the two dominant. There's going to be a big rivalry, I think, between those two. I think they're both fantastic. Right, Premface of the week. You have to take this away because this is so good.
I have so many. First of all, last week, the biggest racism scandal in all of football that everyone was talking about everywhere was Mike Mignon and the monkey chants and the racist chants hurled at him from certain sections of the Udinese crowd. And look, if Mike Mignon was some low league, Serie C, barely professional football, I can understand why you might get his name wrong. But he's only the starting goalkeeper for France, and he's only the starting goalkeeper for Milan. How Gary Lineker managed to call him Steve Mannion is beyond me.
Oh, God.
I don't even know what. When I saw that, and Steve Mannion, and he says it with such conviction too, and it's like I just couldn't stop laughing.
Amazing.
It's just Steve Mannion.
I can explain what happened here. I
really think so.
This is what you call.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if I want to go there, but let me just say this. I tell you what's happened, right? He's mixed up Steve Mandanda and Mike Mignon. That's what's happened here. You can call that whatever you want. It's a mistake. Okay, you can call that just a mistake, right? Just a harmless mistake. He's mixed up Steve Mandanda and Mike Mignon. They're both goalkeepers. They're both black French goalkeepers.
Stephen Mannion, he said, not
and
he's
mixed the two up. That's just my opinion, right? I'm not saying that's a fact. That's what I think he's done there. He's mixed the two up unconsciously. Right, that's all I'm going to say. But I mean, it's hilarious.
But I wonder if Gary Lineker has been beaten this week by the ridiculous overreaction of Liverpool fans to Jurgen Klopp leaving. Have you seen some of this nonsense online? Listen, I
can imagine.
To this. No. You need.
I saw they want a statue for him.
No.
They want a stand. They want the stand renamed.
You need to listen to this because this is an actual post from a Liverpool fan forum. This is insane. I just went down to my lad's school. He's 8 because I felt like I had to tell him in person before some blurt on the playground told him. As soon as I got out of the car, I literally sprinted towards his classroom. And just as I turned the corner to get there, I saw him and all his class came out. I knew right away when we locked eyes that he'd already found out. Just pure sadness in his eyes. And it just killed me. And I dropped to my knees, sobbing my heart out. He rushed over to me and just hugged me with all he had, and he was crying his eyes out too. And then this is the part that ended me. How do you explain something like this to an 8-year-old? How do you make it better?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my. He's home now, took him out early, and we're both just a mess.
It's like someone's died in the family.
It's just like... I have no words for this. Jurgen Klopp just resigned. How do you explain this to an 8-year-old that someone changes his job? Are you insane? Have you people lost your bloody minds? This is the most ridiculous, and it's just been non-stop. This is cult behavior. This is not.
This is Liverpool. This is what Liverpool fans are like, though, aren't they?
This is insane. This is genuinely insane, and it's just like it's messages like this over and over. I'm stunned. I have no words.
Oh, that's brilliant.
First of all, there's no way that's true.
No, you don't know Liverpool fans, Nima. Trust me, that's true.
Be true.
Trust me, that's true.
It cannot be true.
This is Liverpool. This is what Liverpool fans are like. Trust me.
Jesus Christ on a cracker. Like it just I don't know.
Talking about fans, West Brom and Wolves fans in the FA Cup. Did you see that? This is a different type of Premface. This is your Premface fan hooligan type of Premface hooligan.
People should know that West Brom and Wolverhampton hate each other.
Oh, of course, yeah. So it's like a derby, like a rivalry, isn't it?
They hate, and so it's one of those hate games.
Like Midlands, Midlands derby. But West Brom fan with his face completely covered in blood, like he was a bald slaphead, and it's just red. He's just completely all red, and he's being led away by police onto the pitch, through the pitch. When the game got suspended for over 30 minutes due to crowd trouble, and they were all coming onto the pitch, and it was like watching 1980s. It was like Hey Cell, like talking about Liverpool fans. It was like watching when the worst of the 1980s of English football, where the hooligans are just fighting with each other, coming onto the pitch. Yeah. And when that fan is getting led off, the Wolves fans are singing, "Let him die, let him die, let him die." I mean,
Jesus Christ!
That's your fanatical kind of extremist hooligan Premface.
Yeah.
They're kind of, and then they'll blame it on the police afterwards. They'll blame it on the police and bad organisation rather than blame it on the fans. They'll say, "Oh, it was the police's fault. They were heavy-handed and they were and it was badly organised by the authorities. This wouldn't have happened if it had been well organised. These fans wouldn't have done this." And it was brilliant. Also, Premface. I mean, I guess it's kind of this would be Serie Ass of the week, but it's an England version of it. Yeah. Oh, this was hilarious. I mean, I shouldn't laugh at this because it's actually a very serious issue. So Anthony, of course, has I don't know if he's still under investigation for abuse of his
really? I've missed this story entirely.
The marital abuse or his girlfriend.
I've missed this completely.
Okay. Well, he got Manchester United actually didn't suspend him, but he was they didn't pick him for a while earlier in the season under investigation. Anyway, so he gets, obviously fans will chant will do chants. So Man United are playing against Newport, and anyway, the BBC commentator starts explaining how the crowd are doing a chant against Anthony, but he thinks it's a positive chant. So the BBC commentator goes, "Oh, so at the moment the fans are chanting, 'Anthony is the greatest, Anthony is the greatest.'" And while he's saying it, you can hear the fans in the background, and you can hear clearly. But they're not saying Anthony is the greatest. They're saying another word that is kind of rhymes with greatest. And the commentator, the commentator's going, "They're saying Anthony is the greatest. They're chanting Anthony is the greatest." And then he stops and pauses and he goes, "Oh no, they're not saying that. They're saying something else. I'd like to apologise to everyone that heard that."
Well, I feel bad for the commentator.
It was like,
that's a nightmare.
Have you ever seen Alan Partridge? You ever watched?
Yeah,
it was like Alan Partridge. It was just.
Oh my God!
It was just like,
poor guy. I feel bad for the commentator. That's such a. Oh my God! It's so bad. Poor guy. No, that can happen to everyone.
Just please, everyone, listen to this video. I know, like, it's not something you really should be laughing at, but it was hilarious. I'm sorry.
Oh my God! That is hilarious to be honest. Poor commentator. I feel bad for him, man. That's like commentator's nightmare, and like that's the worst nightmare can happen. Jesus, poor guy.
As if they'd be chanting "Anthony is the greatest." I mean, it's such a common chant, isn't it, that people chant out "Anthony is the greatest." I mean, for one, he's not. He scored his first goal of the season, so he clearly isn't the greatest.
Oh dear.
But, oh my God! Right, finally, Serie Ass of the week.
Yes, it was. You go. You take
it's the official Serie A Twitter account. So Inter win the Supercoppa, didn't they, last Monday?
Yeah.
And the Serie A put out a congratulations tweet, and they do one for Pippo Inzaghi, who won his 1,000th Supercoppa, and they write, congratulations to Pippo Inzaghi. I can't remember what the quote it was, but anyway,
Pippo or Simone didn't they get Simone right? But they just misspelt his name. So it wasn't Pippo.
Oh, it wasn't Pippo Inzaghi. Sorry, I'm Prem now. Yeah, it was Simone Inzaghi.
You're Prem. I love that.
Congratulations to Simone Inzaghi winning his fifth Supercoppa, but they misspelled his name. They called him Inzaghi. I mean, it's just this is just what drives me mad. This is everything. That
My favorite part is that they didn't even edit the tweet because they're verified and they paid to be on Twitter, so they didn't even edit it. Instead, they did a follow-up tweet and said, "Of course, we mean Inzaghi." It's like, oh god,
just edit it. Everybody's looking at this.
Yeah, it's like, it's
this is your congratulations tweet for a team winning a trophy. You're the official Serie A account. Spell the guy's name right. But if you mistakenly spell it wrong, delete it and put another one in. Or if you've actually got the ability to edit it, then just edit it.
Oh, one last Premface too. The official TNT in England, when Lautaro scored yesterday, and said he equals Mauro Icardi's tally of Inter's all-time greatest goal scorer. I just saw that. I just remember that now. I was like, okay, well done. Wikipedia. I mean, literally, these 90% of these issues can be handled if you just Google properly. Just Google it for 5 minutes. Yeah. Just literally spend 30 seconds on Google, and you won't be making these mistakes.
Mauro Icardi. Oh my god.
Yeah, he equaled Mauro Icardi as Inter's all-time greatest goal scorer. They're like 8th. Like it's just
they are. They're joint 7th.
Yeah. It's like
7th and 8th.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. No, it's been but for me, I wonder if the Liverpool fans' reaction to Klopp is not like I've never seen anything like it. That is just I couldn't believe some of the stuff. It's like I've never understood quite why people dislike them as much as they do. Even when I lived in the UK and studied, I didn't get why people couldn't stand them. But I'm starting to now because some of the stuff that they've come up with this season.
No, it's mad. It's mad. I mean, they're treating it like someone's died. Like someone close, like a member of the family's died. We have a joke in England, like among kind of like the Italian kind of like people of Italian heritage, Italian population, that people in England treat their pets better than they treat their own parents. Like they'll give it, like their pet dies and they'll give it a funeral and they'll mourn for like months, and then like one of their own their own parents die or one of their own member of their own family, and they'll like they won't be mourning like they were when their pet died. With Liverpool fans, it's like that on steroids. Like it's just.
But this isn't normal. He just resigned because he's tired and he's going to end the season, and they're acting as if some catastrophe of biblical proportions has occurred. It's the end of a cycle. He's almost been there for 10 years. It's it's okay, I don't know what it's just the reaction of it. I went down on my knees on a children's playground sobbing. Like, come on.
You went down on something, that's for sure.
Jesus Christ.
On that note, let's call it a night or call it a day. Oh God, these are getting longer and longer.
And we really I hope people enjoyed this one. The shouting match for 25 minutes must have been really entertaining to listen to.
No, I think people will definitely enjoy this one. I'm certain of that. Okay, right, let's leave it at that. We'll be back on Tuesday for the Q&A, and then on Thursday or Friday. Let's confirm that because it is transfer deadline day, but it's been such a crap window, which is a reason why
we'll do a reaction to it. Yeah, we'll
do something, but we might not even wait till the end of the window because I'll be honest, it's been such a terrible window, and that's why we haven't been been that's why we haven't been getting the transfer journalists on, because they're really it's just been such a terrible window. It's been pointless. But we will do something like reviewing that, and obviously looking forward to the weekend as well. Cool. Right, let's leave it at that. Have a great week, everyone. We will see you on Tuesday for the Q&A. Till then, ciao.